How many of you have problems? These challenges. How many? Raise your hands. All right. See, problems are what is going to make you great. The bigger the problem, the bigger the hero you can become. How many of you watch Spider-Man? You know Spider-Man? So what does Spider-Man do? He's like, oh, he goes over here like this, right? Okay? And then he goes over here and he gets some bad guys, right? But the thing is, what if the bad guys were stealing, were shoplifting at a 7-Eleven? How big of a hero would Spider-Man be? Would Spider-Man be a very big hero? Not really, right? So in order to be a big hero, you have to be a big problem. You have to have a big problem. How many of you have big problems? See, the bigger the problem, the bigger the hero you can be. How many have medium problems? So if you have medium problems, you can be a medium hero. How many of you have really small little problems? So then you can be a small hero. The bigger the problem, the bigger the difficulty, the bigger the challenge, the greater the hero you can be. But let me tell you, our biggest challenge is not the economic crisis. It's not that the clients don't understand. It's not that, people are, lazy. It's not that people don't want to buy insurance. What the real biggest problem is finding ourselves. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever sat down, just sat down, and tried to think of who you really want to be? I'm not saying what you want to achieve. I'm sure all of you have goals, right? All of you have your goals written down, right? So that's not what I'm talking. I'm not talking about getting the yacht or the Learjet. I'm talking about who do you want to be? Your ideal self. See, when I was younger, I had a bit of a problem. Now, I didn't think it was a big problem, but apparently, all of my teachers and even my parents thought it was. I had this thing called dyslexia, which basically means that your brain is kind of messed up. And then on top of that, I had what they call attention deficiency syndrome, which also means that your brain is messed up. So basically, I have a messed up brain. So here I am. Now, I'm pretty happy being dyslexic, and because I don't understand what it means anyway. But so I go to school. And when I go to school, the teachers don't really treat me very well, because I don't really see things the way that the other students do. And the teachers get a little bit frustrated. And I get a little bit frustrated. And so eventually, the teachers and my parents decided that they were going to do me a favor, because I was a special child. And so they put me in this class where the special kids learn. So here I am. I go into this class, and there's this teacher. And this teacher is so sweet. She's nurturing, and she's helpful, and she really cares about me. And I'm thinking, wow, being a stupid kid really is great. Because I get all this special attention. And I'll tell you, when I was a kid, I liked attention. Actually, I still do. That's why I'm here. So when I'm in this class, I don't really learn a lot, but it feels good. So I class for a couple of years, and then they decide that before I can go on to high school, I need to have an algebra class. I don't even know what algebra is. And so they put me in this class, and I said, but I'm a stupid kid. Don't you remember special? And they say, sorry, you have to go. Now, I grew up in the United States, and there they have 4 quarters, 6 weeks. Now, the first 6 weeks of this class, I got what they call an F, fail. Completely just messed up. You know, and I go back to my parents, and it's like, well, I really tried, but it's not my fault. I mean, they put me in the wrong class. But then, the teacher did something very interesting. He put me up in front of the class together with another student. And he says, okay, we're going to try something new. We are going to try to put a simple algebra problem on the board, and you are going to solve it without writing anything down. So the first person to come up with the answer gets a point. And these points count as extra credit. Okay, now first of all, remember, I liked attention. So here I am in front of everybody, but I'm thinking, my gosh, I'm going to make an idiot out of myself. But it turns out that when I looked at the problem, when I didn't have to write it down, it was actually simple. And so I came up with the answer. And so therefore, and then he brought somebody else up, and the more you got the right answer, the more other people would challenge you, and the more points you'd get. Eventually, I graduated that class with an A+. 50% of my grade was extra credit from that contest. But you know what happened? During that time, I found out that the other students, because I was in front of this class and I was actually doing this in front of all these other kids, the other kids came to me for help. And I'm thinking, wow, this is even better than being a stupid kid. And so they started thinking, wow, this guy's a smart guy. And so then, you know what? I started to become smarter. I transformed. Now, does that mean that I really was stupid to begin with and I just, suddenly grew brains? Or is it possible that because people labeled me differently, because my environment and the way that I was being treated meant something different, that I found my own resources to be what I wanted to be? Is that possible? Is it possible that many of the problems that you see right now, many of the problems that you currently have are not really your problem? That you actually have the resources to solve them? That you actually have the ability inside of you to be what you want to be? Is that possible? I want you to take a moment. I want you to get with the person next to you, groups of 2. I want you to take a few minutes, 1 song worth, and I want you to tell each other, who do you really want to be? If there was a dictionary definition of who you are, of what you want to be, of the ideal self that is you, what would it say? What would that dictionary definition say? Ready? Go.